Yes, sir. We are back, and welcome back to the Sick Podcast Info Show. We are going to be talking about this upcoming game versus the Raiders. Talk about some keys to victory, but some other things to look for. We also got some news, so yeah, there's a lot for us to unpack today. So make sure that you get your snacks, get your drinks, and get ready because we are going live. Sammy, bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sir. And it is Sick. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. Before we get started, Sammy, go ahead and bring us in right. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. I am your beloved host, CJ, and I also have with me,
Big P.
yep.
I guess I'm
And
not so beloved though.
well, I mean, you got to say it yourself. You got to say I'm also beloved. You can't do that. I guess I'm not beloved either. Come on, man. You know better. You know better, P. You know better. But what they do know better than that is it's game on. Week 5 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football, it's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift at DraftKings. Every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS, all caps, no spaces. When you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Yes, sir. And so, with that being said, and we're going to do some sick picks later, so make sure that you are staying tuned. But yeah, we are. How are we now feeling? We're now removed from last Sunday's game. We're on to LA. Based on what you've seen so far, how are you feeling thus far?
Man, like we talked about Tuesday, Chris, I'm feeling all right. We beat ourselves against the Rams. They didn't beat us as good as the team that they are. I still
Yeah.
feel that way. So going into a game with the Raiders that's 1-3, I seen somewhere, I think Kevin Bowen posted it, that Latu was going to have a big day because their right tackle isn't playing.
Yeah, Colton Miller, he's out.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be just fine. I really do.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm looking at the matchup, right? Because I mean, this was a Raiders team where I think, Ashton Genty just went off, right? So I
Mhm.
think he's starting to emerge a little bit. But I think one thing that I feel like people are looking at now, as opposed to what they were looking at before, is that, that team looks to be building something great, but right now they're
It's not
not
there.
they're not there. Like they're really not in that space yet where we can say like I believe they're a serious contender. Now it's still early in the season. They could make a run, they could make a push, but as of right now, that's a team that I just am not believing in, and I'm just not seeing it as of yet. But what I will say is that there are some things to kind of look for, at least in this matchup. Um, and I think for us, before we get too much into that, we're going to look into just some things that we've heard so far in terms of news. So yesterday, Colts Nation was, I'm going to say, a little surprised to see that Xavier Howard retired. First, he was put on the NFI reserve retired list, and then he released a statement saying that he was retiring from the game for good. Um, so how much of that do you think was him realizing that, or how much of that do you think was, the team saying, "Hey, you're gonna be on the bench"?
Well, I think the word on the street that I'm seeing is that he was going to get benched,
Okay,
and he's like, no, I just
I'd
32
rather call it.
years, you know,
Yeah.
he's what 13, 14 seasons in the NFL,
No,
you
he's.
know.
I think he had like 11 or so, I believe.
Okay, yeah, but double digits in the NFL.
Okay.
I think he gets to walk away on his terms
Yeah.
versus somebody else's terms, as kind of kind of what I'm hearing. So,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, I'm okay with it. I really am. He's not playing his best ball. Absolutely not. Not saying he's not talented, but these young kids coming in just got too many steps on him, man. They really do. He's not facing the old receivers that he can match up with, pretty well. He's facing, a second year Puka Kanua, or however the hell you say his name. Kid's legs are a lot fresher than, somebody else's.
Yeah.
He just he
Yeah.
just he just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I want to say, especially in the case of Puka Nakua, it's the legs. It's him not necessarily being able to not being able to keep up, but I think also that rust of being away from the game for a year, it was showing. It was showing badly, and I think
Hmm.
he did a good job against the he did a good job against the Dolphins, and I think that had more maybe to do with familiarity than it did with that skill because it's just like you knew exactly what Tua was going to do. You practiced against him since he's come in the league, and they've never changed a thing. Now it was like it started to show up. It showed up in the Denver game where Troy Franklin was absolutely killing him,
Yep.
and I think every week you had an example of like this is definitely a temporary fix as opposed to him being somebody that you will believe you can keep around for a year. And so that's why now, like the fact that after that game where he got torched, we saw that, which I mean, it makes sense. Like you see that, yeah, this has changed. I'm not where I need to be in order to be able to deal with this. So I'm gonna get up out of here. So I mean, I get it. I understand it. I'd rather
Yeah,
him
and
do
and
that than to
I
look like a pincushion all year.
yeah, and I definitely understand it from both sides, the management side and the player side. So yeah, was it kind of mutual on both sides? Probably like, hey, you're just not cutting it, da 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 this. So this
Mhm.
is what our plan is. What do you want to do? How do you want to handle it? That's kind of how I see it going. I
Yeah,
don't think they just said, "Oh, you're third string now," and then closed the door. I do not see it like that. I do believe, Ballard and team, went to him and say, "Look, man, we tried it. It's not working out. We're definitely going to honor the contract, but what do you want to do?" It's like,
yeah,
I understand, guys, and you're probably right. So I'm just going to retire. Okay.
yeah, yeah. That was you know what, and I'm like walk away from the game. It's not walking away because you got some crazy injury. You walked away from the game because you realized you gave it all you got, and this was a game that had evolved. And I think there's been players that have left the game when they were a little bit older and they saw that the game was moving in a direction that wasn't going to be suiting them anymore. and I think that was the case here. So I'm glad that he went and took that step. And speaking of retirement, not necessarily for somebody that we just got, but for somebody who definitely had our hearts and a lot of our hard-earned money mined because of his jersey. They officially announced that Darius Leonard, I still call him Darius, even though Shaq, but Leonard will be retiring officially as a member of the Colts this upcoming Sunday. And they're going to be doing, I think they said he's going to be hitting the anvil for this week, and he's also going to be giving a speech at halftime.
Good.
So, and for that, I say that is well deserved, because for me, I feel like he is probably he could have been one of the best, barring injury. That injury, like once they started stacking up, it was tough. But
Yeah,
he was
I'll
on a
absolutely agree
trajectory.
with that. Did you see any of the interviews from today's after practice at the
No, no.
facility?
Oh yeah, I saw Jonathan Taylor had a lot to say, because he was just like, he was speaking on it, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, and everybody that was asked about Leonard retiring at Cole had nothing but rave reviews to say about him.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
and we know
and
that.
that's the kind of player he was. That's the kind of leader he was for this team. And like you said, injuries just stacked up on him. And I'm sorry, you guys, your body can only take so much.
Yeah,
You know,
it was.
it is what it is. Being a disabled veteran, I can promise you, your body can only take so much.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how strong you are. If the rest of you isn't doing it, you got to find something else to do, because
yeah,
you're no longer an asset on that battlefield or that field.
yeah,
You're actually hurting the team.
yeah. And I mean, and you can see. I mean, I think part of it was the fact that Gus Bradley's system, like, it didn't allow him to kind of be that free range maniac that we were used to him being. It had him basically just like, it had him boxed in, and
Yeah.
that sucked to see. But I think also when you see the injuries, it went from like one time it was like he had the concussions, and then you saw that he had the issue as far as like the calf went, but then it ended up being a back issue, and then it ended up being all these things, and then it got to a point where you just saw that he wasn't himself anymore.
Yeah. And at one point, an ankle injury led to the calf. Calf led to this. That led to the back. And hey, we're
Yeah.
finally figuring out. Yeah, dude put his body on the line every game. There's
Yeah.
no shame in walking away, Leonard. No shame at all. You came, you gave Indianapolis your best. You got a shit ton of fans for it. We're gonna
Oh
miss
yeah.
the hell out of you. Hopefully you'll come back and watch some games with us.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, he's still very much in Indy. I think they were just at one of the Fever games just the other day. I think they had a picture of him and his wife. So I mean, it's not like he still won't be embedded in this city in this way. It's just going to be in a much different capacity now. So
Hey,
so
Sammy, if you will keep track of the questions, because I have not been able to
yeah,
keep track of anybody's questions.
yeah.
But shout out to everybody in the chat: Chris, Colts House, Daniel, Sean, Teresa, Stacy, front row at the fight. Who's that? YouTube guy, okay, or gal. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely get back to the questions. We're not ignoring you guys. I promise you that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, and that's the reason why we just want to make sure that we went it and spoke on that. But I think just all time, and this is just random question, but where in terms of Colts defenders, right? Where does he rank on like that list of Colts defenders? I'm going to say like on like all time.
All time, he's definitely top 10. You caught
Yeah.
me on the spot there, so
Yes,
you know.
absolutely. You're welcome.
But yeah, easily top 10 without even thinking about it. Could be top 5 if I thought hard enough about it. Because right now the ones that really stick to my mind is Freeney, Mathis, Sanders, Saragusa. If you're as old as I am, you'll remember that name.
Yep, Tony Saragusa, the Goose.
Yeah. Shoot.
I mean, is it fair to say like you could probably rank him top 5?
But just a quick memory search. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's totally fair saying top 10, but give me some time and I bet it would be top 5.
Yeah. And I think that's about where. And as a matter of fact, if you're watching, especially in the chat, let us know exactly. And you don't even have to put like detailed. You can, but tell us like 1 through 10 where you would rank Leonard all-time Colts defensive player, all-time Colts defensive player. Because if you add an offense, then it's going to be
now I feel a little better because now you put the entire chat on blast like you just did me. So now I feel like I got company here. I don't feel so single.
Absolutely. And you know what? And like I said, we do have some questions coming in. I know one of the things that that people are talking about, and once again, it's just like shout out Daniel, Kevin, Stacy, Teresa, Craig, everybody who's tapping in now, who's doing it. Tim, he's our resident Jags fan, but he's also a Colts fan by default. Shout out to Tim. He's what he calls an SBC. He's a steam bun connoisseur. So, he says right after Buckner. So, I mean, you could put Buckner in there too.
Do you want to put active or inactive players?
So,
because if you're talking active players, that changes a lot of things because we got a shit ton of talent on this defense.
Yeah. Well, I think, outside of Buckner, the only person that I think you may talk about from defensive that's active is maybe Kenny.
Absolutely, there ain't no maybe about it.
But the thing is, I'm not like to me, Buckner has a better chance of being ranked, in my opinion, over Leonard than Kenny does. I love Kenny, but the thing is, it's just like Leonard was like. They called him the maniac, and he lived up to that name for a reason because more often than not, if you needed a turnover, he gave you a turnover. Like he's the and I think I will say this. Leonard was the last real defensive general that we had on this team. I respect Buck, I respect Zaire, but Leonard was like he was the guy who was bringing the energy. He's bringing the grit. He's bringing the toughness. Like he was going to be exactly where he needed to be, and more often than not, he was going to give you exactly what you needed. He was going to give you a stop. He was going to give you a turnover. Like he was just that guy.
I can agree with that. Absolutely,
yeah, so.
Absolutely. And what was funny about that is when Ballard picked him, the entire NFL world was saying that was the worst draft pick ever.
Oh yeah, he
and then he ends up winning defensive player of the year or rookie defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
led the team in tackles for quite a few years until Zaire got him.
Yeah,
the dude was good. I mean, I'm going to miss him absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think there's already some coming in. I think we said like Daniel. What up, Daniel? He says Leonard is number 3 all time for Colts defenses. So that's what he said, and also coming from a small school because that was also a big thing because I think he was, I think it was South Carolina State. Like he came from a small school, which was like I think that was the other thing that was impressive. He was just all over the place. Chris Tunstall says top 10 for sure. Just can't put a number on it. Chris Dinkins says 6. So I think the general consensus is that he is very regarded. he's regarded very highly in terms of where you can put him, exactly who he was. And like I said, you're going to do that. Like I know that we have all those names. I know front row just said like Freeney Mathis, Sanders, Leonard, Bethea, Buckner, Goose, Vontae, Gilly, Kenny, and Brackett is the Colts' ultimate 11-man defense. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so yeah, over Van Der Esch or whatever his
I
name
want
is.
to go back. Colts House had a question about we should go out and get Gilmore. Man, brother, I think that ship has sailed, just like what's his name ship has sailed that just retired.
Xavier Howard.
Howard, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what? I think you bring in. I think Gilmore. So while I do believe Gilmore would be much more serviceable than Xavier Howard, you do kind of wonder about how he's going to be able to hold up.
Yeah,
Like now,
a few years ago when he was with the Colts, he would have good games and he would have bad games.
yeah,
And then he requested a trade, went out to Dallas, started off like a beast, and then he started trailing off a little bit, and now he's not even on Dallas's roster.
yeah.
So
And
me personally, I just think, man, especially in this game, you start getting just a little bit long in the tooth. These young kids coming up, they have so many more advantages over you.
Yeah.
Now, can you hang? Yeah, but it's not like you used to. And now you're talking Howard and Gilmore, they're a lot longer in the tooth than some of these other guys. I did see, I can't remember the name, but I did see where they picked up a cornerback, I think out of Minnesota's practice squad, maybe. Let me go back and find that because I can't remember all the details. It was just a quick scan with what's going on. I've been pretty busy today, so I haven't done a whole lot of homework.
No, I get that. But one thing that I will say is, Gilmore at that time when he was with us was serviceable. And he was still good. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, when you look at when that was 3 years ago. And I mean, I think last year, the last time that he played meaningful reps was in Minnesota, and he was decent. But I mean, even now, it's just like he's not on a team, so you don't know exactly what you're going to get from him. I think it would be good. I just think we're looking for somebody to maybe just fill in for right now, or maybe just have like something that's a little bit more permanent. Because I think the other issue is that you have to front row said Keenan Garber from Kansas State that they just signed off of I think Minnesota's practice squad also.
I believe that's the one.
Yeah, but
that sounds real familiar. Thank you, front row.
Yeah, but I think the thing that we're clinging to right now, and I can say this, I don't know if I can speak for everybody else, but the issue that we have is that we always are looking to just continuously build and build and build and make this team much better. However, we also see that right now this team is competitive. And I think going out, there was talks of a couple of different cornerbacks. I believe it was, who was it? I think it might have been Colts House that mentioned the names. But they were talking about Tariq Woolen was one of the names that they've been talking about from Seattle. And they have Greg Newsome from Cleveland, Cam Taylor-Britt from Cincinnati, who Lou coached previously, and then Asante Samuel Jr., who I think is less about talent with him, but it's just about the fact that he had neck surgery back in April. And so I think teams might be hesitant just because of the fact that even now it's just even if you're okay to go, something with the neck is always going to be a cause for pause, except in Latu's case, because Latu, he had the neck injury prior, around COVID time, I think 2020 or 2021. And then he was able to play meaningful ball for 2 more years at a different school, going from Washington to UCLA. So, those
Yeah,
types of things are
when
what we look
when he
for.
got drafted, he had 2 years showing that his injury is not slowing him down versus
Yeah,
someone that hasn't shown anything but a medical report. You see what I'm saying? Big difference.
yeah,
And that position, look, watch how that position's played. It is one of the fastest and hardest hitting positions on the field.
yeah,
Those guys hit and they tumble and they roll, they jump up, they come crashing down. That is a brutal, brutal position.
yeah.
It
And
it
that's a
really and
that's a
truly
tough one.
is. Where your linemen, yeah, they get injuries, but it's not bad. Linebackers get injuries, but typically it's not, too crazy. But your DBs and your wide receivers, man, they take a daggum beating. They absolutely do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the reason why I think with him it's a little bit tougher. But, I like right now, I'm not of the I want there to be another move, right? Because we know that Chris Ballard knew that we had to be competitive this year. And
Absolutely.
so he was a little he was more aggressive in free agency. I think he was more aggressive in making sure that that cornerback room was like shored up. Now, I do believe that Jalen Jones is absolutely going to be that cornerback too when he comes back from injury, but we also have to kind of wait that out, and I think that's why everybody's just kind of chomping at the bit right now.
Yeah,
So,
I am too. And I'm
uh,
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'm biting at the bit too, saying, "Come on, Chris, come on, get get me somebody else out there."
yeah,
We are decimated at this position. We need to find stable people that can fill in to get our starters back, and then hopefully those people become solid backups in case it happens again.
yeah,
And trust me, I'm being as anxious as everybody else wanting this to happen because I'm seeing how this team's playing. I'm seeing how this team is gelling, and I got high hopes for it.
yeah,
I'm not like the Cowboys fans and saying every year, "Oh, this is our year." I'm not saying that, but Colts football's fun again because we got a team. We got a very competitive team, and it's fun again. And I don't want to lose that, Chris. I
yeah,
don't want to lose it. Damn it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Make
and I think that's
football
why
fun again.
that's why we I think that's why like we want that we want to bring in somebody who I think is just kind of like an established veteran, because I see some of the things I think Kenny's talking about, like, give the guys a chance to rotate in, and I get that. But the thing that gives me worry, the thing that gives me a reason to just kind of like pump the brakes on that is just because of the fact that we've seen, oh well, let's rotate in some other guys here and there, and that's worked against us, right? Because the thing is, everybody isn't going to be like a Kenny or a Jalen Jones. You have guys who may end up being like a Bo Peep Keys, or like just being like a one of those guys where they're just like, hey, let's just promote him, see what happens, and then he gets torched in a game that he doesn't need to get torched in, and then you end up losing.
Yeah.
And like I want to see competitive ball. I want to see us continue to be in these games, continue to be a fun squad to watch, continue to be everything that we've seen. Yeah, Tim said same feelings as a Jags fan. Football is fun again. Like,
Sammy, pull up that last comment from front row. This has got me killed.
yeah, it's like as long as because Chris Lamons, for some reason, he survives cuts every single year, and yet
No, no
whenever he
out.
does get meaningful snaps, all of a sudden he's getting beat like a drum, and I can't. I don't want to continue to go through that cycle. Like, I like what's been done to make this team aggressive, what's been done to make this team competitive, and I just don't want to go back into those things where we get all these guys for depth, and then all of a sudden these guys who are just supposed to be depth end up being starters at some point, and now we're like back to square one. Like I don't want to see that. So, I mean, I definitely do not want to see that at all. But you know what? I think we're seeing the tide changing with the team. Daniel said Duval, no y'all. Like yo. But one thing that I do want to talk about, especially like getting to this game, this is one of those games that only worries me slightly because this is one of those games where you got to go in and you got to handle business immediately. Like I don't want Ashton Genty to get an inch, regardless. Like I don't want him to even remotely get started because the problem is that we've seen that if we let people get an opportunity, then for some reason they start to figure things out. And I don't want them to figure anything out. But
if they come back with a similar game plan as they did last week, Zaire's going to have his hands full because Genty, say the name for me.
Ashton Genty.
Genty.
Yes.
Gentile. I'll just call him a Gentile. How's that?
What? No.
I was listening to my Bible app as I was working today.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair then.
So, anyways, he proved he's a viable threat in the pass game as well. We are going to have to keep somebody in on him.
Yeah.
And I got a little visitor with me.
What's up, Moody?
Hi.
How are you?
She can't hear you.
Okay, good.
But that's okay. We'll keep going.
Love you, boy.
I'm talking to him.
No, we're right in the middle of talking football. What do you want to say? You want to say go Colts? Scream it. Scream it.
I want to
say go Colts.
Say go Colts.
Chris wants you to say it. All right. Well, let me get back to
saying it.
Okay. Anyways, let's keep going.
But
somebody's a little camera shy.
Well, fair. But no, but I do want to say that because now, mind you, Brock Bauer is somebody else who is deemed to be a major threat potentially. He was a limited participant in practice. So the way that it's looking right now is there's a chance that he may not play.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as he will play.
Yeah,
that's how I'm looking at it. I don't see him sitting down. But yeah, you're 100% right. Gentile, Bowers, Myers, and
Trey Tucker.
I ain't too worried about him.
Yeah.
Their defensive guy. Why did I lose his name?
Max Crosby?
Crosby. That's it. Yeah. And Geno Smith. Those to me are those the key personnel that we're really going to have to focus on.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And there's a lot of things that especially are coming in right now, right? I think one of the things, can you bring up the comment from Indie Poise podcast, which I believe is Clyde?
Can I yell at Chris? I can say animal cookies.
No.
Why?
Because we're talking football, not animal cookies. Where's your mother?
And you see the comment says, play sound football and the game isn't even a game. Respect the rook, and he's talking about Genty, but he isn't someone to stay up late for this week, at least not yet. And I do believe that.
No, but you can't just leave him alone. You might not have to throw everything at him in the kitchen sink, But if you leave that man on an island, he's going to eat you up. The kid is talented.
Absolutely.
I would
And
not
I think,
just dismiss that young kid.
yeah, and one thing that I will say is with all the stuff that they're building in Vegas with that team, they are going to be formidable in a few years. This is, to me, not one of those years. But this is also a game where you don't allow them to get an inch when you know for a fact that Genty can gas you. Now, one thing that needs to be stated, and I'm going to speak on this right now because we saw that it was an issue last week. That pass rush has to be more aggressive.
Got to be.
Latu is getting pressures. We know Buck was getting doubled. We know that McVay put together a plan that made sure that he put as little pressure on Stafford as possible. But we also know that Pete Carroll isn't going to do the same thing. Pete Carroll, him being a great coach and everything that he is, I'm not seeing that from him. So, and as they stated, you put pressure on Geno, make him turn the ball over. Like, he turned the ball over against the Bears, and he did as much good as he did bad, but in the end of it, it just wasn't enough. Where now, you know that you have the opportunity to do so. Like, those two that Zaire could have gotten last week, I know he wants them back, and this should be a week when he's absolutely going to get that back. But I mean, it's going to be putting pressure on them and everybody just getting theirs. Like, I expect 2 sacks from Latu this week.
Is that your anytime?
That's not my anytime. That's not my sick pick. No, it's not my sick pick. Nope, not my sick pick. Not my sick pick. I got a completely different one, but we'll talk about that later on. So yes, but no, I absolutely expect them to scheme up a plan to make sure that Genty doesn't get the type of stuff that he was supposed to get. So I'm absolutely sticking to that. But like I said, and I think Max Crosby, I like Max Crosby. He's a very formidable, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I want to say, I trust Braden Smith as long as he's healthy, because outside of maybe like Myles Garrett, Braden Smith does a great job. And I'm going to say minimizing the effect of those guys who generally blitz or generally are rushing the pass off of that line. Colts house, don't kill me. Don't kill me, okay? Because like I said, I know I said Zaire will want those back. So that's why I think we're kind of like tracking that more just to make sure that he does that. So like I said, it's not catching a stray. I just feel like now he's going to rebound and get back to it. So Colts house, trust me. Like I said, no shade, no stray. I expect that all pro level to be all pro, especially in this game. So that's where I'm coming from. But I like Braden Smith. I like he catches a lot of heat just for like the injuries. I know that he dealt with what he dealt with last year, but I truly do believe that Max Crosby is not going to have the day that he's supposed to, especially if Gonsalves is there. Because if Gonsalves is there, I think Daniel Jones for the most part should have a clean pocket all day.
Good. Sorry.
All right, not a problem. So now is when we can kind of, I'm going to say we can talk about we'll wait on that. We'll wait on that. I'm going to wait on that. But more on this game in particular, right? Because now, how much of a sense of urgency do you think the team has? Like, do you think that like now, there's a little bit of a panic because of the fact that you're just like, oh, well, like we've already been doing good. It's the second quarter of the season. What do you think on a scale of 1 to 10, like the players are looking at this game as? Like, do you think they're just like, okay, it is what it is? Or do you think they're just kind of like, no, we need to get this win because we need to get back in the driver's seat for our own destiny?
No, I think that is the mindset after a loss is, hey, we had too many mistakes. We got to fix this. Hey, this happened. We got to fix this. I don't think they're looking at this game as a gimme game. I do believe they're going to come into this game with the problems that they fixed from last game and showcase that they did fix it. I don't think this team is going to get complacent. They know they still need to play hard each and every week. They still know they need, to improve each and every week. So no, I don't see him coming out lackadaisical or anything like that. I see him coming out on fire. I really do.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I think even now I'm very much so just I want this team right now to just be exactly who he is. And also I gotta address this because like I said, I'm looking at the comments at the same time. Good night, Stace. I got it because I think front row at the fight he put up, he says, let's hope Bortolini doesn't get put on his butt again. We can't have that. Listen, I think that was a one-time shot. Bortolini has actually been doing very, very good work this season. So I'm not going to throw him under the bus like that. Like I said, it's just like that was a one-off more so than anything else. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I didn't like it by no means being a trenches guy. But Verse did have 5-6 yards.
Yeah, so the thing is, I think,
and then he just trucked him, but Bortolini still tripped him up, and he didn't get in there on that particular play. So it wasn't as bad as it looked. It looked extremely bad, but he didn't get to Daniel Jones.
No, he didn't.
And I think he did have a 5-yard freaking head start to truck his ass.
That's also true. Because, and I think, like I said, if Daniel Jones goes and he kind of even remotely changes his snap count or does something, because you saw him kind of creep up to the line. And I think at the point when you don't make any adjustment at all, you're basically just saying, oh, yeah, we're just going to dare him to just do whatever he's going to do at this point. I guess they tried to see if they can call his bluff, but I mean, he rushed in the way that he looked like he was going to. I think now you're going to see, they called their bluff immediately. So I'm by no means going to go ahead and just put that on them because, like I said, they know how to correct that, how to make that better. So, like I said, I'm not gonna kill them for that. I think that's just one of those Daniel Jones things where he's just he watched the tape on that and he's like, yeah, I should have probably bluffed a little bit on that one. So, like I said, I'm not of that mindset with him.
From watching the game, in the highlights, there's a ton of things these guys are working on this week. Ton of things they're cleaning up. I don't see them just coming out thinking, oh well, it is what it is. Let's go, guys. No, it's hey, we had a problem here. This is what we need to do to fix it. Hey, see this play? This is what we need to do to fix it. I can't see it any other way. Not with a competitive team.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I don't, especially when the team's competitive. Yeah,
it was talking about the Titans or something. Yeah, there's just okay, show up to practice if you want, or show up to the games if you want. We don't care.
Well, I mean, it's just I think most Titans fans now are rooting for the University of Tennessee instead of the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, we're like I said, I'm not worried about them. We all know where their heads are at right now. So I mean, it is what it is. So at that point, yeah, I'm not worried about that too much. But like you said, I think that was a fantastic positive play by Bortolini. Every good O lineman gets blown up at least once, and I think that's the case because we also. Well, let's not forget the impact that both Bortolini and Gonçalves they've had up to this point in the season. And you look at them, and they were their second-year O-linemen who got, I'm going to say, spot starts last season while guys were injured. But, I mean, for them to be only second year and fully starting now, and they've been as good as they've been, especially when it came to Gonçalves. And you saw exactly how his impact was missed when you saw that Gonçalves, you had Dalton Tucker out there, and Gonçalves was not letting up the amount of pressure that Dalton Tucker had been letting up in that game. So I mean, it's basically just like, hey, listen, we know there's a squad that's being put together. I think like when it comes to Chris Ballard, the one thing that we've said this in spaces on Twitter before, but we said that the one thing that we never worry about when it comes down to Chris Ballard drafting is O-line.
Facts.
So yeah, that's the one
And
thing.
linebacker.
Yes. So, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, I wish he would draft more linebacker now because that room's getting thin. I think Cam McGrone, I think he just got the can. So, yeah, no, absolutely not. We gotta do better. But you know what? That brings us to this portion of our segment. So you know what, Sammy, bring up sick picks.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.
All right. So Clyde actually is in the comments. He's saying his sick pick is 3 forced turnovers. So like I said, if it's 2.5 on turnovers forced against the Raiders, take the over is what Clyde is saying. So that's what he has. Now for you, sir, what do you have for us?
You're going to love this one.
Oh boy, I don't like when you do that.
Anytime AD Mitchell touchdown.
You are a monster.
Yeah. And watch it be the very first play on offense.
If that's the case, then chef's kiss. Everything is good and dandy in the Colts house.
Now the first play, that's a stretch, but I think they're going to bring him back in the fold because one, he's that damn talented. He needs to be in the fold.
Yeah, 100%.
Two, he needs that confidence, and this is a defense we can do that for.
Yeah,
I really think that. So yeah, my sick pick is an AD Mitchell anytime touchdown.
yeah. Okay, all right.
And now let's hear your craziness.
So for me, right? So they just released the awards for Players of the Month for AFC and NFC. And Jonathan Taylor, 414 rushing yards, leading the league, right? I think he's at 113 receiving yards. I think he's also leading he's leading I think running backs in receiving yards as well. I could be wrong about that one, but between those two stats, he absolutely, I believe, already winning player of the week twice for the AFC, and they gave AFC offensive player of the month to James Cook. JT, if I'm JT, I'm looking at that, just be like, bet. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Jonathan Taylor, 175 yards total for scrimmage. 175 total yards from scrimmage. And I'm going to say book that because to me, I feel like Jonathan Taylor is going to get going early and he's going to get going often. So he saw that. He probably, I don't know if he saw that or not, but if he did, he probably looked at that, nodded his head, said, bet, just like us Jersey boys do, got in the lab. He's going to be right there. So 175 total yards from scrimmage. So yes. So book that. So we got three forced turnovers. We got AD Mitchell anytime touchdown because Pat is an absolute.
Because Big P said so. Damn it.
He is diabolically dastardly, and that is amazing. I love that, by the way. And JT 175 scrimmage yards. And you know what? I will because, like I said, they said, can we give Nick Cross his flowers yet? And
Absolutely.
if you've ever heard me on this podcast, you've ever heard Pat on this podcast, I think somebody that I've always kind of advocated for is Nick Cross. And I love the fact that he's coming into his own, especially because I mean, other than the one play that I'm pretty sure he would love to have back, brother, he actually balled out like crazy. He was going ham. He was doing everything that you would expect him to, and I love that in that game, especially against somebody that's a perennial playoff team. So I 100% love the actual. I love what he's doing, and I'm glad that he's doing it. Like, force them to make sure that you are paid at the end of this year. This is your contract year. Ball out completely, and he's young too. Like, I think he's still what, 23. So it's just like, I think some of his best football is still ahead of him.
Absolutely. Now, if you guys want to go and scroll back through the YouTube page, I think it was 2 years ago, we actually interviewed Nick, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty fun.
Yep.
It was me and Acosta. So,
yep.
Yeah, if you want to go back and find that interview, it should be on the YouTube page.
Yeah. Yep. And I think specifically talking about this game, I think Alec Pierce is going to have his presence felt this game. Not being able to play last week due to a concussion, I think he's going to come back this week, and I think he's going to get right back into it. Like, I'm going to say it, and this is generally part of my fantasy strategy. But I love the contract year guys, because not only do they have to kind of stack that resume, but that last year, that one is absolutely like Alec Pierce, I think, is balling out because he knows that he wants that 20+ million. So I definitely believe that. And here comes Clyde. Here comes Clyde with his nonsense in the comment section, talking about, oh yeah, now Chris wants to cue the sick pick intro. Yes, because you know what? I was uninterrupted by the likes of you, sir. Okay? So let's just go ahead and get that out the way.
If your Wi-Fi is that good on the beach, you should have been on the show today.
That's what I'm saying. He's over here live commenting from the cabana. Here you go out here just because you want to be in Tulum. Like, I don't want to hear that. But then also, Colts have brought up something interesting. He said, we've dealt with the Raiders and Josh Jacobs. This is no different. In fact, worse than the Car Raiders we went against. Shout out to Cross and Pierce to get those bags. And yeah, like I said, we've dealt with different variations of these Raiders teams. And I think we've dealt with pretty decent variations. But I think this one right now, I'm like, there's no reason with the way that this team is playing and what we're doing that this shouldn't be one of those games where we're able to, in our house, be able to represent and just do what we need to do. Like, Leonard's going to bring that energy when he bangs the anvil. Like I said, that retirement, it's just, I think those kind of things just hit different for not just the fans, but for the players too, because you see exactly who it is. And it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to ball out. We are absolutely going to ball out this week. So yeah, I think it's going to be cool. But other than that, Pat, anything else that you got? Or matter of fact, I'm going to do the thing you hate. Score predictions.
Oh, God. Right.
You thought you got away safe.
I did.
Yes.
Call you Clyde Jr.
You can't call me Junior. I'm taller.
Well, you're younger, though.
That is true. I'm much younger than Clyde.
Yeah. Score predictions. Man, this is going to be a hefty one. 31-17. Colts.
Okay. All right. I like the 31. I'm going to say 31-14.
Okay.
I'm going to say 31-14. So, yes. And so with that being said, we are actually going to go ahead and wrap up before Pat actually has us
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, so what else we got?
We got a massive tailgate coming to this game.
Oh, yeah.
Massive tailgate. If you guys are out and about, come to the Blue Crew lot and touch downtown. Find the Blue RV. Find us. We have a special company that is actually going to come out and supply us with free tequila. And that company is Maxwell Park Tequila. Boom. There you go. If you want to find everything out about it, just go to their website. Super, super smooth tequila. You're absolutely going to love it. But they're going to have a presence out there with us at the RV. Not only that, Mix 103 is going to do a live broadcast from the tailgate.
Yeah. Oh, and also make sure that you put in mptequila.com instead of mptequilq.com.
Yeah, the Q was a misspelled.
Yeah.
That was my bad. Sammy
No, it's all good.
I sent Sammy a message and I misspelled it. There we go.
No, tequila. 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 Yeah. Thank you, Sammy.
He was fast on that though. But yeah,
He was.
so
There we go.
So we got Mix 103 coming out. We got Maxwell Park Tequila coming out. We got Indianapolis Colts Fans Mexico coming out. And these guys, they fly in from Mexico. So come meet some awesome fans. I've been dealing with them for quite a few years now. Whenever they're in town, we get together. I don't speak Spanish. They don't speak English, but we have the absolute best time because we're always talking about football. And it's a universal language. Try it. It's an absolute blast. So come out, meet some international Colts fans.
Yep.
Come out, hang out with us, have some fun. Get out there. But if you don't want to have fun, at least come for the free tequila. Because I'm telling you, it is good. Whew, it is good. It is really, really good.
Whoa, Teresa. Actually I don't, but that's a story for another time. It was I don't drink tequila. It's just well, like I said, we'll talk offline. But so make sure if you're at the tailgate this weekend, definitely come through because normally the tailgate is always a blast. It's always fun. But now you get to see exactly what that Maxwell Park Liquor is all about, and then you also get to see what you're going to do. How many yards does Alec Pierce get this week?
It could be a ton.
Give me 95. I'm going to say 95 because honestly, I don't trust their secondary, and I think Alec Pierce is absolutely going to go ahead and he's just going to let one rip. Yeah, Tequila makes clothes fall off. I will not confirm or deny that. So we're
confirm it.
Hey, wait. No,
Pat.
But you know what? But with that being said, we actually are going to get out of here because now we're getting close to time.
Yeah,
so
there it is. Teresa's on us.
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely.
Teresa.
So yes, and Sammy, can you bring up the Twitter handles, please?
I guess not. But hey, chat. Appreciate everybody getting in here with us week in and week out. You guys are awesome. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions. There was quite a bit to talk about tonight, and but we definitely appreciate you guys. And man, come out and tailgate with us. Come party with us. It's a lot of fun. Absolute lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm trying to come back to the tailgate. I'm going to say maybe within the next few games, but we're going to have to see. So we'll just stay tuned. I'll announce it on here when I do. But you can find me on Twitter at CJ Colts Fan. Where can the people find you?
At Big P Colts.
Yes. And so also, please bring up the podcast page. Yes. And you can find the podcast page where we're going to repost clips. You can get the links to where we're going to be, or I'm going to say to this pre-recorded show on at Sick Pod Colts. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, following. Make sure that you're reposting as well. And then also, to hear this episode again, you can actually go to z103.com. Make sure that you download that app. It's in your app store. Just type in z103.com. It should come right up where you can see the pre-recorded shows that you have on there. I believe that one is going to be live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Or is that still Sunday for Z1? Yeah. So that'll be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Z103.com. Also, make sure that you're subscribed to Mix 105 because you'll be able to hear this episode Sunday morning. Get your day started. Go ahead and hear everything. If you're placing last-minute bets, you can hear us, hear our bets, and then let us hear it when you win. Maybe go ahead, shoot over $5. You know what I mean? I'll leave the Cash App. But make sure that you're doing that as well.
We'll get you a shot of tequila. How's that?
I appreciate that. Hey, listen. Hey, get the people to send your boy a bottle, okay? I'm still down. Down with the get down.
I want to tell everybody about Z103 and Mix 105. it's not just our program. Man, they got some great music on those programs. You know, if you're a country bumpkin like me, they got a separate app that just plays country music. If you're somebody that likes all the genres, they got part of that on the app too. You know, Mix 105 does the same thing. I love how Mix 105 does the hashtag Strong series every week, spotlighting kids that are, you know, fighting childhood diseases. I haven't seen any other radio station do this for kids. You know, so
absolutely.
check them out, man. They're great people, great companies to work with. Absolutely are blessed to be a part of their program.
Yep. And thank you for that. Also, check out VIP One Lounge Extra. That's our guys from across the pond. You can hear that, hear this show again at 5:00 p.m., whatever UK time is. And last but not least, please bring up the QR code. You also have Visit Indy. Scan that QR code. You're able to see everything going on in Indy, all sporting events, live events, everything that you can possibly do in downtown Indianapolis and just like surrounding areas of Indianapolis is all going to be on that QR code. Scan that QR code. It should take you to the link where you can go ahead, create an account, and then everything will be accessible to you. But with that being said, people, we love you. Go Colts. We're going to talk to you next week when we are 4-1. And yeah, so we will see you next week. Be safe. We love y'all. And Sammy, take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.